Active Investor here, bringing you another independent analysis. This time we're taking a look at ticker symbol MRO. It's Marathon Oil Corporation. The chart we're looking at here today is more of a short-term chart. Each candlestick on this chart is going to be representing 15 minutes of trading. So we go back to about June 8th on this chart. Actually, you know what? That is actually going back to about June 7th on this chart. And I'm going to discuss in this video the possible reasons that this stock looks like it's legging up, and also areas, of course, of support and resistance. You can see those areas of support up here, resistance up here, and we can look at our technical indicator, the relative strength index, down here at the bottom, which is actually the first thing I want to start doing. So you'll notice that our averages here on the relative strength index are overbought. And some people do think that's a bad thing to be overbought, but I'm going to tell you a little bit differently. On a chart like this, overbought is not actually a bad thing. And you'll see that when we are overbought, for example right here, that's when we had an increase in price. Now, you can look at another area where we were overbought, was right here. Notice how we were increasing in price until we broke down to oversold. See, we legged down to oversold here. And when that happened is when we saw a decline in the price. So, now that you've seen that the relative strength index is good being overbought on this chart, you'll see that since we're overbought, we can potentially see this stock begin to turn around and leg back up. Now, following in line with that fact is our moving averages. We have the yellow 50-day moving average, the 20 green moving average, and the 13-period purple moving average. Now, we want to see the purple moving average above all of them. As you can see here, when the purple is above, that's when we have a nice increase in price. We want to see ideally purple, green, yellow. And when it's in the opposite order here, yellow, green, purple, that's when our candles and our share price begins to decrease. So you notice that our purple line is beginning to cross the green line here. That's the 13 SMA crossing over the 20. It hasn't crossed yet, but it is about to. So if this continues to run up in price, we will have a bullish crossover on the moving averages. And the next thing we got to do is break above this yellow line, which is currently trading at 1375. Now, occasionally, that 50-period moving average has acted as resistance in the past. You can see here our candles were denied by that 50-period moving average. And let's see, almost here, but not quite. But just keep in mind that that yellow line can act as some soft resistance on the way up. But if we continue to leg up, the price target is $14. On the way up to 14, if we can break above that, turn to support, the next area that we could leg up to is about 14.42 for the short term. So resistance at 14.42 and $14, and a little bit of trailing resistance at 13.75 on the way up. However, that resistance was only really tested a few times here, and that 50-period moving average might not act as resistance. So if the stock legs up and is really bullish, I think we'll blow right past that moving average and hit that $14 mark. You can see $14 was super important here where it acted as support. Actually, what's interesting is you can see that candle just bounced off that 50-period moving average over there. $14 also acting as resistance here. So super important area, resistance, resistance, support over here. Down here at the bottom, 1340 is our current closest area of support, and it has acted as support a lot recently in that price area and also in the past a bit as well. Now, we can't see it on the chart, but there is also support over at $13.06 and $12.82. So keep that in mind. Even if 1340 breaks, there's a chance we bounce off rather, 1306. However, 1340 to 1306 is still about a 10% drop. So that might not be good depending on what your cost basis for the stock is. So let me just take a look here and give a shout out to Juan JHP for requesting this MRO analysis. And it does look like it's legging up. The only thing that worries me is the fact that the most bullish area on this chart in the short term here, turning around, has occurred after hours. That's why we have these little trading blocks instead of solid candles like we see here. After hours, as you know, can tend to be a little bit more volatile than normal, so it might not be the best indication of a break from this current downtrend. You can see that downtrend's pretty strong. We have lower lows, lower lows, lower lows, lower lows, and lower lows. But it is turning around after hours, and if that after hours turnaround translates to the market next week, then we're well on our way to making higher highs, and that's what we want to see on the way up. The chart is starting to look better. We're overbought on the RSI, above that 80 line. Moving averages is almost crossing over, but there's still, still ideally we want to be above that 50 period moving average like we were over here. So still a ways to go on the chart, but it is starting to turn around. Just be careful if we break 1340 support, because we're going down to 1306 next, and then 1282 after that if we don't bounce off 1306. So just keep that in mind. Hope this analysis helped you guys out. Any questions or comments, please leave some feedback below, and I'll catch you in the next video. Have a good one.